Hi, Tim Roy for Warriors.com. We're here with Warriors owners Joe Lacob and Peter Guber, and we are celebrating an anniversary. It has been 1 year since you guys officially took over and took control of the Warriors franchise. Has it gone by quickly or not?
That's an interesting question. It has been 1 year, but it feels like a lot longer. I think for both of us, Peter and I, it's been just a lot of work. More work than perhaps we thought, but we're really excited about the coming season and all the changes we've been able to make. So very happy with what we've done.
Well, in part, Peter, I think one of the reasons why it may seem a little bit longer is you guys did a lot in 1 year.
Yeah, you do a lot, but you don't know the impact. It's residual. It goes out after that year. You'll see how it all works. It's a process. It isn't just an end point. And some of the things that Joe and I and their team all put into work, we'll see the fruits of it, this year. I think that's the point. You're doing and you're planning. You're doing and you're planning, and I think that's the fun.
Joe, tell me a little bit about the first year. When did it really hit you about the magnitude of the job, and are you happy with what you got done in the first year?
Well, very, very excited with what we got done. It really hit about May or June, I think, after the season. The season was fun. It was all new. It was exciting. We won 10 more games. But after the season, we had to get real about what management changes we might or might not have to make, and what changes in general. And that started a process which has gone on for about 4, 5, 6 months and has been very time consuming and a lot of work, just a lot of work. But we're really excited about what we have done.
Peter, when you own sports franchises, as you do with minor league baseball teams, and you've been involved in major motion pictures, where does this fit in for you personally?
It's like any opening night, you get prepared for it, you get all excited for it, you stand up there and everyone applauds you. Remember when we were at the Warriors the first time, they introduced us, the crowd cheered, and everyone was excited. I turned to Joe, I said, be careful, all glory is fleeting. So you just got to remember.
That was from Patton, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Very good. But the idea is that you say to yourself...
He doesn't have any of his own lines.
No, I take everything. I hypothecate the best of everything.
So what about the basketball side? You got to be pretty happy with that. I mean, Jerry West, Mark Jackson, and Larry Riley and his ability to be a true professional, able to take all this and put it all together. It's got to be an exciting thing.
We think we have a fantastic basketball organization right now. Certainly Jerry West. I mean, he's the legend. 5 decades of doing everything at the highest level as a coach, as a player, as a general manager. He's an incredible resource for us. And I think we're so proud to have him involved with the franchise. He lends a lot of credibility to the franchise. And I also am very proud of the fact that Peter and I were able to recruit him. This is a guy that didn't need to do this anymore. He's done everything. So I think that feels really good. I think the coaching staff that we brought on, Mark Jackson, Mike Malone, in fact, the entire staff, we're extremely proud of. We think it's one of the best young coaching staffs in the NBA. Put that together with the rest of the basketball organization, including the medical doctors. We changed physicians, we changed doctors, we changed strength and conditioning, we changed the trainer. We've changed pretty much everything, and I think for the better.
Rick Welch becomes available, and you guys are able to go and grab him. And by all accounts, not only a good guy and a very talented man, but a guy who has his own visionary qualities as well. It's got to be a huge boost to have a guy like that running the show.
Well, leadership is key, in an organization. It isn't just one part, it's all of it together. The question is, how do you make everything be better than the sum of its parts? And when you have a leadership like Rick, who's come out of a whole bunch of years at Phoenix and now a whole bunch of years at the NBA, and who's a leader and knows how to hire people, how to motivate them, you can then take chances. See, you can't take the risks that'll give you the exponential success unless you have the leadership that makes the organization be willing to do that, be willing to lean forward. And he's doing that. And what it gives to Joe, who's here all the time, and it gives to the rest of the organization, the ability and freedom and mobility to have people really do things that are unique. For example, one of the things that's really important, he looks at the whole technology world completely different. He realizes we're in Silicon Valley, that we have to be the leader in that space, how we engage fans, how technology engages fans, from mobile to social networking to in-stadium. He understands that. He understands how to cross revenue, from different platforms. He understands that the fans have to leave with an experience of being somewhere that they like. If they're turned off by the food, if they're turned off by the parking attendants, if they're turned off by the behavior of the people that run the arena, they're not going to have a good experience. Yes, the team's got to win, but they got to win on the floor and off the floor. It's called show business, not just show.
And you started that line of response, so I'm going to follow that up. At the arena, and you've been kind of a person that's pushed for this, better Wi-Fi, better sounds, to better fan experience.
Yeah, well, you have to recognize, most people think the fan experience is they watch the game starts, the national anthem, and then they leave and they go home. The fan experience starts when a father, a mother, a kid, a fan decides to go to the game. How are the tickets rendered to him? You know, how easy it is to have the tickets. Does he know really where he's sitting? Are they season tickets? What is the experience of him parking the car? How is that? What is the experience of them walking to the arena? How are the food? You know, think of a restaurant. Can you imagine having to get a new customer every time you go broke? You got to get them to come back and come back. How do you get them? You get them to own the experience. You get enough certainty that they know they'll have a good time and enough variety to know that there's different food components, different entertainment components. And you know what they do? They do all the heavy lifting for you. They tell the other people, go to see the game. I had a great time.
And one of the things that I am really thrilled about is now when you walk into the Warriors office, you know you're in the Golden State Warriors office. From the hallway with those tremendous pictures of our history to the flooring to whatever. And I think it's important. It's important for people to walk in here to know that there's some pride in this organization.
Well, one of the first things that we did when Peter and I walked into these offices, we looked around and we said, this is a little dreary. And it looked like a team that had not been to the playoffs once in 17 years. And so I think it was very important for us to set a tone and, of course, to change the culture. And I think that's obviously a small step, but just really changing the offices, making it lighter, brighter, a place people want to come to work, I think was very important. And of course, that leads to a lot of the other things that we really wanted to accomplish and we're on our way to accomplishing, which is changing the culture of this organization. It's very important to us to be a winning organization, a successful organization for a long time, but you have to start somewhere. And putting the right people in place and having the right environment for them to work, it's all very, very important. And for our fans, same thing. And you mentioned at the arena this year, I think when fans come, they're going to see a few changes. We have had a little downtime, and we have been able to make a few changes at the arena that fans will be able to see that I think they'll be very happy with. That is some better Wi-Fi, a better sound system, and a new HD scoreboard.
When you talk about the recent history of this franchise, it hasn't been all that good, as we all know. But in the past, there have been some spectacular moments, some glorified moments. How important is history for you guys?
I think history is important. Look, this is sports. It's about statistics and numbers and identification with the athletes and your parents' identification with athletes and so on. So I think it's very important. And one thing we haven't done real well as an organization, at least I'm saying this from the standpoint of a season ticket holder for a lot of years, we haven't done that very well. And I think you're going to see this year, one small step is that we're going to retire the jersey of Chris Mullin, who was one of the truly great players in the history of this franchise.
Hall of Famer now.
Hall of Famer now, and we're going to retire that jersey, and I think it's January, I forget the date exactly, but we're very proud to be able to do that, to welcome him back into the organization.
Not only with the fans and also with the people in the organization, but also in the community. I know with the Joint Powers Authority and SMG, the people that help run the arena, that you've reached out and tried to do some things to make that process a lot easier.
One of the first things we did is reach out to the JPA and the city and the county and to settle some of the disagreements that the Warriors have had with them over the years. There's no reason for that. We want to be on good terms with the people that run this arena and the members of the leaders of the city and the county. And we've done that. I think we created a very good working relationship. We're trying to improve a lot of other aspects of bringing the game to our fans in our arena in Oakland. And hopefully the fans will see that this year.
Has the year been what you thought it was going to be?
No, definitely not. It's like the idea is this is not the end. This is not the end of the beginning. It's still the beginning of the beginning. There's so much to do. You had to dig down, as Joe said, first and see what was here those first few months, just to figure out what was here, what wasn't working, what should work, what were the expectations. And, we don't go by the strategy, fire, ready, aim. That's a bad strategy. So we think that the key is to organize ourselves for success. We get a better chance for it. So it's getting the best people, it's taking chances, it's giving the capital that's necessary to make the changes that Joe spoke about. And then it's something else. It's getting a little lucky. You got to get a little lucky. And, we're going to hope that the basketball god shines on us this year, right?
Yes.
and then we can all smile and celebrate again next year.
I think one thing Peter's saying is you need to be prepared for luck.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do everything to the utmost, best of our ability. Bring in the very best people. Do the absolute best things we can do to make this a great franchise. It's not going to happen overnight. We understand that. It'd be nice to happen overnight.
Yes.
But it's probably not. So, whether it's this year or the next year, we're going to be successful. We are not going to stop here until we are successful.
I got to ask you a question because you've always brought up how you wanted to own a pro sports franchise. And for a lot of us who, and kids, whether it be on that old magnetic board with the football players or playing board games, you acted as your own owner per se. What's it like now to have that dream fulfilled?
I have to be honest, I haven't had time to think about it very much. And I think Peter would say the same. We're just, we're in the process. We're actively every day just trying to figure out how to learn it and to do it better. And I guess every now and then you sit around and you say, oh yeah, I guess this is our team. This is pretty interesting. This is fun. But until we get there, until we achieve the success that we've set out to achieve, we really don't want to just sort of sit around on our laurels, because there are no laurels yet. The laurels will come when we get a ring someday to put on the finger. We can then reflect and say that was a great experience. But right now we're very much involved in the process.
And from your work in minor league baseball how important it is to have a feeder system for a major league franchise. And the Dakota Wizards are now in the fold with the Warriors, and that's something that's kind of right up your alley, so to speak.
Yeah, when we first did it, I held my breath. I said, you don't understand. I know these aren't big atomic bombs, but they're little atomic bombs. They can, they can kill you. They're very lethal. You got to make sure it doesn't get a distraction. You got to make sure somebody can really run it and manage it, especially if you want to get both benefits: the economic benefit out of it and the player benefit out of it. And Joe, and with his oversight to Kirk and to oversight to Jim Wyman, had that charge. And I think what will happen is it can be a better way to keep a group of folks ready for the big time.
And Joe, we've talked about this when we had the initial transaction. Is it how it's so, I think, advantageous to have a place where you can send a young player that you really like, have him work the way you want him to work, give him that playing time, and you get back a better player as a result.
Well, and most importantly, we get to integrate the coaching staffs so that a player is developed at our development team very similarly to how we'd be developed at our NBA team. And so these guys learn the same plays, the coaches are all integrated. We get to develop players in the Warrior system, if you will. And we also get to develop executives in the Warrior system. I don't think that should be overlooked. We're looking at this as an entire sort of development organization, if you will, for the Golden State Warriors. And I have to tell you, we have put together quite an organization in a very short period of time in Dakota. I was there with Jerry West recently and with Bob Myers, and we did a little event for the fans. And it came off very, very well. I think we were very well received. And I think we put together a very good group of not only coaching staff, but executives for that organization that will help us in the long run.
It's a very forward-looking theology that Joe espouses. It says we're going to build and plan for the future.
Other sports do this.
Yes.
You've been doing it, in
Many
fact,
years.
yourself, many years in minor league baseball. It hasn't really been done to a large extent in basketball, but we're going to borrow on that model, the model from Major League Baseball and minor league baseball, and try to make an impact on this organization over a long period of time.
You've both been very eager to talk to fans, including right here at Warriors.com, the owner's box, where you answer questions from the fans. And I have a couple here, and one is from Gabriel Gonzalez, who's a season ticket holder, and wants to know, it says, if the Warriors are in the midst of a game with a big deciding run and the ref makes a bad call, the other team's forced to take a timeout, please sit on the pizzas and T-shirts and the hoop troops while the crowd can get fired up.
When you have the accent on the wrong syllable, you're going to get in trouble, all right? And I think the idea is you have to remember that proscenium, that floor, is what they're there for. Those players are very valuable assets. You've got a huge inventory on the floor there. To have somebody throwing pizzas in little kids' faces while you have that huge inventory, it devalues your team. You have to balance the both. On the other hand, you have natural lulls at the end of the quarter and in the halftime. You have to keep the energy through music and through on-floor entertainment alive, because there are other people there. They're not just the fanatics of the team. There's wives and little kids and people. You have to keep their attention if you want to get their intention to come back again.
That's well said. Blinthia Davis writes in, why are the Warriors the only team in the league without a city name? All the other teams in the entire league have their name in front of them, 29 of 30 a city. She's not quite correct. There are 4 other teams that have state names, Indiana, Minnesota, New Jersey, and Utah. But she's asking Joey about Golden State.
Well, first of all, the Golden State Warriors has been our name for 40 years. So it's not something you lightly change quickly. And the truth of the matter is the geography is a little bit different here too. This is a bay, and there are 3 cities that really are around this bay: San Francisco, Oakland, and San Jose. And we really believe that that's our market. All 3 of those cities are our market. And it's a little bit more of a difficult problem, if you will, to just call the team the Oakland Warriors or the San Francisco Warriors or the San Jose Warriors. We happen to play in Oakland.
And the season ticket base reflects that.
It does. They're from all over. And so, yes, we happen to play in Oakland, but we think it's appropriate, certainly at this point in time, to continue what we have been doing, which is to continue with the name Golden State Warriors.
Final one from Rahul. He says, I think the Warriors should change arena location, maybe to a place that all the Bay Area can reach. He says, I have to drive 2 hours to Oracle, and we should have a more electrifying arena. I'm not sure what Rahul means by that, but it's like you said, it's a bay. And no matter where you put it, it's going to be a little bit longer drive for somebody else.
There's no perfect place to put it, I suspect. Though, our current location, actually in studies, apparently is the best place to go where more people from different parts of the bay can reach it than anywhere else. At least that's what the studies say. And again, of course, it's never going to be perfect. If you're coming from Monterey, that's a long drive no matter what. If you're coming from Napa, it's perhaps a long drive. And we have fans in all those places. But I think honestly it's a pretty good place that's, given the traffic problems that we all have in a major city like this at any given time, it's a pretty good place for the arena to be, and I think we're pretty happy with it.
There's one other alternative. We could put it on an aircraft carrier and move it around to different areas.
Yeah, well, I'll get to work on those logistics and some of those permits. So as we wrap this up, a 1 year look to the future, if you will, Peter, for me, and tell people what you see.
I see growing on a storied legacy, the Warriors, a rabid fan base in the Bay Area, which deserves better in every area. It deserves the best quality team on the floor. It deserves to get to the playoffs and be a competitive team that way. It deserves the best facility that possibly you could have, with great sight lines, great food, terrific entertainment experience. It deserves the opportunity to be technologically on the cutting edge with mobile, with social media, with Wi-Fi, with stadium quality vision boards, so that every part and parcel, every detail counts. If you do that and then get a little lucky, you have success.
John, same question?
I can only say to all our fans out there that we are doing everything we can to improve this organization, to improve the product on the floor, to improve the fan experience that Peter's alluding to. We will stop at nothing to make this the very best experience for our fans. And we promise you that we're going to take this team to the playoffs and soon.
Well, congratulations. Year number 1, very, very exciting. And I know I speak for Warrior fans everywhere. We can't wait to see what year 2 and the years to follow will bring. Congratulations.
You've done a lot of waiting.
Hi, Tim Roy. Don't forget to click and roll right here at Warriors.com.